Alright, that's the Flat Earth Report by MVP. Today's January 7th, 2020. Possibly the last year before they mud flood us and there's nothing left. This should be the end. I mean, it's Mars 2020. And if they make it to Mars, despite all the obvious examples of hoaxery here, then it means that collectively humanity has lost its mind and there's nothing we can do. And I'm prepared to accept that, especially after Mousegate. Mousegate is getting worse. Everybody's covering it. Finally. Finally. Although Belu and Jaren still say it's pareidolia. But UAP doesn't agree with that. You and I don't agree with that if you paid attention at all. You know that a mouse is a mouse. The only question is, who put it there and why? Is it because they have a wharf rat infestation? That's one possibility. I think it's more likely, though, that it's a joke. It's an inside joke. They're inserting mice into the feed because it was the Mighty Mouse mission where they're sending the mice to space, and they just brought them back. The mighty mice who went to space just came back. Of course, they're telling us, well, it's not a mouse, it's ice on the outside of the rocket. It's an ice, says Red's rhetoric, Mr. Smudge. And then they impugn our intellects, and they say, well, you're stupid. I'm stupid because I'm seeing a moving ice sculpture moving at Mach 8. No, that means that I appreciate fine art. I appreciate miracles, and that is miraculous. That you have a walking ice sculpture at Mach 8 in outer space, and these people can't appreciate it. They call you stupid for noticing. Hey, forgive me for noticing that frozen oxygen condensate shaped itself into a mouse and ran laps around the rocket while there were actual living mice inside the rocket. Like, how's that not a freaking miracle? Anyway, yeah, we're told it's ice. Don't believe your eyes. Don't believe your lying eyes. Believe what these government liars tell you to believe. Also, this is breaking news. Monopoly Man doesn't have a monocle. Despite the stereotypical image of rich guys with money bags, top hats, and monocles. No, he doesn't have one. Apparently, this is news to a lot of people. Anyway, it's on the front of the Drudge Report. So check this out. Tesla's now the most valuable car company ever. And Elon Musk is so happy about it that he does a striptease in China. And wouldn't you know, look at these people up in front. I mean, first of all, this is goofy, but you're going to see. You're going to see. They're giving him the Hail Satan gesture here. Look at that. It's like, is that coincidental? You got a Satanist in the front row, horns up. And Elon Musk, one hand up, one hand down. Doesn't that look a little, looks kind of like very Baphomet-y. Is that a word? Any occultists in here? He's doing it wrong, though. If he's doing the Baphomet, and it looks like he's doing the Baphomet, it's supposed to be right hand up, left hand down. And so it looks like he screwed that up, too. Now, that is a gesture, though, that is synonymous with the magician in the Tarot. And the only reason I'm looking at this thing is that the mouse that we're talking about on the outside of the rocket, that mouse was on the Merlin engine. The engine itself is called Merlin. And so I'm just looking at the iconography here, and it's like a mouse, kind of a magic trick thing anyway. You know, mice are often in magic tricks. And here you have Elon Musk doing magic tricks, and here you have... Now, I'm not trying to connect the dots. I know the Satanist in the front row, who knows? Maybe it means I love you. You can never tell. They say it means I love you, but the people who flash those signs usually don't look like they're trying to communicate affection. Usually they look like they're possessed. Okay, so here we go. Striptease. Elon Musk launches Tesla SUV program in China. And here we go.
Elon Musk got lost in the moment on stage in Shanghai on Tuesday. The Tesla founder calls the video NSFW, not safe for work. But he was there to celebrate delivering the first cars from Tesla's new factory. It managed the feat.
Okay, Okay, so you're looking at the Tesla China Model 3 delivery ceremony, and this is today. And yeah, this is his not safe for work celebration, and you'll probably see more of it. Um, I don't know if this is occultic or if this is symbolic, like some kind of CERN ceremony, or if it's just Elon Musk goofing around. But take a look. Let's watch
Managed
it.
the feat just 357 days after breaking ground on the plant, a record turnaround time for any major automaker in China. With the
Yeah, you think that the guy could hire a choreographer. I mean, he has the money. He's going to go out there just kind of winging it. And you can see that by the crook in his back, he pretty much spends his time in front of his computer.
moment on stage in Shanghai on Tuesday.
It's pretty
The
bad.
Tesla founder calls the video NSFW, not safe for work. But he was there to celebrate delivering the first cars from Tesla's new factory. It managed
I don't know what that was. Does anybody know what that was? Nerd, it's like a nerd mating dance. Like, what does that get you?
Tesla founder calls the video NSFW, not safe for work. But he was there
I mean, he's in China. You know, it's like he's embarrassing all of us. Okay, he raised an online storm by dancing. They didn't even put it in quotes. On stage at the Model Y electric sports vehicle. See, I thought the electric car was actually like electrocuting him. I was like, man, what happened? Did you touch the socket? Your hands were moist? But no, that's just a green screen back there. So no, he's actually trying. The $2 billion Tesla factory will start delivering cars. Let's see, SUV, blah blah blah. These things aren't going to save the planet, you know that, right? God, he's such a weirdo. I'm sorry. I saw some of his tweets. I went through his Twitter feed. It's worse than this. It's worse than his dancing. He says, I'm just trying to grow my follower count on Pornhub, the billionaire says. Don't search Elon Musk on Pornhub. You don't want to know. I haven't done it, but. Okay, so that's the main bit of news today. The Martian Pope is out there trying to get clicks. It's all clickbait. I think this guy's just a. That's like cringe bait. You know, cringe bait might be the new clickbait. He's got to be a puppet. Like, who does he think he's winning over with this stuff? Unless it's just to distract everybody from the mouse. And if you don't know about the mouse, it's pretty simple. They were launching genetically modified mice to the space station, and they just came back today. But these genetically modified mice were called Mighty Mice. You know, like the cartoon mouse that can go into outer space. And on that mission, we actually spotted mice on the outside of the rocket itself, on the Merlin engine. Strangest thing. And so it looks to me, and look, judging by this guy, by his behaviors, I think it's safe to say that he's not above this type of inside joke. And I do think what we're seeing with the mouse is an inside joke. Now, of course, we had expert opinions. We had Elon Musk say that it was a video compression artifact. But now it's supposed to be ice. He changed his story, but originally he said, "Oh, it's nothing to see here. It's a video compression artifact." And then it changed to ice, but this is the main one, and this isn't the only one. So it's not just one. There are several videos where you see essentially the same thing, and it's even more mousy, if you can believe it, in the second video. In the second video, the mouse looks up at the camera and turns around, or in the camera's direction. So again, take a look. This is Mousegate. You're not supposed to see this, and you're not supposed to recognize that it's a mouse. And this is what's been so fun about it, is that I've been having a number of people look at this with me live after first denying that it was a mouse, and just say, hey, can you actually look me in the eyes right now and tell me that you do not see a mouse right there? Because even if it's not a mouse, even if it is ice, it is a moving ice sculpture. in the shape of a mouse moving like a mouse. Like it's hard to believe, it's hard to even imagine anything more fantastical than this. That you've got frozen oxygen, some type of condensate at Mach 8 forming into an animal and then moving around. It's amazing. Short-faced bear says the missile attacks are happening. My cousin is out there and I'm worried. Why are you worried? You know those missiles are all fake. They range, they exaggerate. North Korea can't launch a nuke at you. That's just a blimp. North Korea's rockets are just blimps that look exactly like the blimps from SpaceX. North Korea rockets. You got to look at this. And they get called out for being fake all the time by American media. But when you actually look at these so called tests, more often than not, it basically looks like they took one of Jeff Bezos' old rockets and gave it a camo or an olive drab paint job, and then, of course, launched it the same way. And it launches just like a balloon, just like a cylindrical blimp. So, like, what exactly would you be afraid of? Allah Akbars? That's fake too. You have as much to worry about, cousins out there deployed as you do about students getting shot by bowl cuts with frowny faces. The shit only happens on TV, and it's only happening to actors. Okay, look at this. Here's something else that you don't need to fear. This is from North Korea. This is one of their rocket launches. And I'm telling you, this is like a knockoff Blue Origin blimp. This is from the Billionaire Blimp Club. He calls up Jeff and he's like, "Hey Jeff, I got Amazon Prime and I gotta scare some people. Can you send me a big rocket dong to wave around?" And they're like, "Yeah, sure." Overnight? Yeah. How you doing on helium? I mean, look at this. That's CGI. That's a blimp. That's a balloon. And I got to thinking about, did I say missiles are fake? I'm saying many of the large rockets that you see, especially these North Korea ones, these are all fake. Uh, even the way that they take off is a dead giveaway. It's If you haven't seen it, you have to look at this. Curious Life. He did this thing a couple years ago, where he assembled a number of rocket launches together. Curious Life did rocket propelled balloons. And what he shows is that it's more likely that what we're looking at as far as these high profile launches, whether it be SpaceX or Blue Origin or the space shuttle, is that what we're actually looking at are cylindrical blimps. City Girl says those missiles in general are real. Sure. I'm just saying that there are definitely exaggerations, and there's far less to fear than not. I don't understand why people take a lot of this stuff seriously. How many times have you been threatened by global warming? How many times have you been threatened by nuclear annihilation? How many duck and cover drills? And to me, the purpose of it is the drills. The purpose of the threat is the constant state of terror. Like, you're supposed to be scared of this. This looks like a special effect out of the Power Rangers or Godzilla. Like, this is obviously fake. Now that one was kind of wiggling kind of funny at the top. You got to take a look at this one here when it reaches the top of the screen. That's more than glitchiness. That's from 2016. This one's even faker. There's so many, but look, this one here is probably a even greater giveaway. And I'm not really joking when I'm saying this guy buys this stuff from Amazon. Like, really, the Billionaire Blimp Club, they all do share the same backstage. So here's North Korea and one of their submarine based rockets, and this one's going to come out of the ocean. It's not as scary with that music. But here we go. Take a look at this thing. Look how slow this is lifting off. I'm going to turn the sound off because the sound is meant to kind of distract you from what you're actually seeing. I mean, it's truly smoke and mirrors. And I'm going to put the playback speed down to about 1/4. And we're just going to watch this rocket take off and just note how slowly it goes off. And they say it's because, especially these rockets, because there's so much weight and it's got to counter that. But I call bullshit. I really do. I think it's kind of, it's highly, to me, it's unlikely that this is going up that far, that it can go to space at all, that you could actually lift something in this manner. What I see here is just another cylindrical blimp. There's no launching ramp on this thing. And it's not blasting off like a rocket, it's lifting off like a balloon. It looks real, kind of. It looks like an 80s movie, like an action flick. And that flame looks all fake. Does anyone here actually fear these things? Like, do you actually think this thing might fly over to your town? And nah. Like, it looks like a stiff wind might just blow it off course. Like, nothing to see there. But we're not really here to talk about rocket blimps. That's only part of it. So the way it works is this. When it comes to the space agencies, they send a blimp out of sight, out of mind, and it lands in the ocean. Now you think it's a rocket because it has jet assisted takeoff on the bottom, and it goes out of sight, out of mind, and of course it doesn't go straight up, it arcs away, and they say, well, it's because it has to fall into orbit. No, it falls into the ocean because once it's out of your range of sight, then the scene changes, and now you're looking at the engine and a piece of the globe. You never see the whole thing. You just see part of the Earth and the engine as it goes into space, supposedly. So on this particular launch, CRS-19, Dragon capsule is being sent up there to send 5,700 pounds of materials plus mice to the space station. And on the launch, the thing is just crawling with mice. So Mousegate means what, at least what I think it means, is that they're faking it in a studio. Now, it doesn't necessarily mean it's a real mouse. It could be a CGI mouse, it could be an inside joke, and I'm very much open to that possibility. Or it could be real mice, or it could be both. It could be throw some mice into the shot because Elon Musk is acting weird again and he thinks it would be funny. And having watched the guy strip tease on stage in China, I'm more inclined to believe that he's so eccentric, so out of touch with reality that he would actually have his employees play some clever game like, hey, yeah, use some of this filter you use to create space ice and make a mouse out of it. Alto says they have a lot of horizon going concave to convex those lenses. Oh, yeah, definitely. By the way, if you just got here or if you haven't been keeping up, you want to get on the email list, infiniteplanesociety.com. Patreon, $1 cover charge a month gives you access to the Discord server where you will have really some of the best researchers available at your fingertips. I mean, that's all we do there is we just research. Okay, let's see. We were talking about a couple of other things. I think Greta just had a birthday. We were talking about privilege and the whole climate change thing. A few other things. Oh, here's what I want to talk about. So the idea about Australia burning, it's almost like all over again, PG&E or P&G. This whole it's burning, the fires are being caused by climate change. Like they're trying to say that these fires that we're seeing are the result of climate change, and it's all just fear porn. Well, one article I caught up with on this topic suggested that several hundred people have been arrested in connection with these fires. In other words, eco-terrorism. And when you think about it, eco-terrorism is really no different than faking school shootings or faking terror attacks. We're just talking about staged events used to manipulate the population, problem, reaction, solution style. But if there's anything to this, if these are staged, it's certainly a new low. I thought the PG&E thing was as well, because at that point, what they're actually doing is they're endangering, real people. for a political purpose. Again, terrorism. Okay, we talked about this briefly last night. It seems like there is a tour of flat earthers going across the country who are preaching that we're in the end times. And I want to read this to you really quick. Welcome to Flat Earth. Here are some great streams. Nathan Thompson, the guy who attacked his girlfriend and her toddler. Glowbusters, Truth Seeker 69, ODD Reality, and Photo Helix. Photo Helix is another sex offender, by the way. Anyway, it goes on to say Richie from Boston, Brian Stavely, Testing the Globe. These sites are being removed from YouTube quickly. Download and save these videos before they're gone. The flat earth is just the first step on your journey. After that, there's something called the Mandela effect also occurring. Don't get lost down any rabbit hole. Just realize, and this is underlined, you've been deceived and it's time to wake up. Time is short. Again, this is a flat earth tract being passed around saying, hey, this is just the beginning. But after this, you got to deal with the Mandela effect. And time is short. The system is being exposed. Wake up and do your part. Copy this on a CD and give it to your friends and family. I encourage you in your journey. Jesus said, let them with eyes see. May God bless you and be with you in these end of days times. End of days times. So what we have here is something being passed around the mall, various malls, I guess, letting people know, hey, here are the channels to listen to, and the earth is flat and the Mandela effect is happening. God bless you. We're in the end of time. We're in the end of days times. Like, what the hell is that? Who actually believes we're in the end of times? Like, so if you're of the opinion the world's going to end for whatever reason, the Mandela effect or whatever, you can no longer make fun of Greta or any of the climate change alarmist hysterics. If you believe we're in the end times, I think you're pretty much deceived and you're sowing misinformation because you don't know the future. Essentially, you're a liar. And I've brought this up before. Prophets are liars. They're lying on the future. And it's harder to fact check them because it hasn't happened yet. But we're on to it. We really are. Nikon launches Coolpix 950. So the Coolpix 950 is being touted as a camera that will make flat earthers go crazy. Here's a link if you want to buy one. Someone said at one point, I think it was a couple years ago, that the whole flat earth conspiracy was just a ruse by Nikon to sell P900s. And this kind of, I don't know, kind of adds to it. Anyway, let's see what they say here. Anyone wishing to disprove Eratosthenes and shoot some cool pics can buy the Coolpix 950 for $800 once it's released in February. So it comes out in February. It says it's announced that this camera, it's their latest bridge camera, and it is the dream of every flat earth conspiracy theory thanks to the 83 times optical zoom and 166 digital zoom. The fixed lens has a range that's equivalent to 24 to 2000 millimeters on a 35 millimeter camera. Excellent reach for distant objects such as birds in flight or cities on the other side of large lakes. Those seeking to deny the curvature of the earth using this technique will be delighted to learn that there's a bonus 166x digital zoom giving the equivalent reach of 4,000 millimeters. So it's a lot of techie stuff, but basically it's saying, yeah, this is definitely something that you're going to want if you're obsessed with flat earth theory. About $800, and this is a piece by Andy Day. I don't know if he gets a commission or not. Like, you would think he's being sarcastic, but he's actually not. It's actually a good selling point. How many flat earthers out there have become photographers for this very reason? And that's not a huge thing. You're talking less than $1,000. Makes more sense to be out there taking photographs and making observations than to be going around the mall passing out slips of paper saying that the world's going to end and Berenstain Bear used to be Berenstein. Like, how far can that really get you? Okay, so I probably will be back later to take calls. I'm actually busy right now working on a few side projects. So I want to just bring to your attention that Elon Musk has totally lost his mind, which makes it all the more likely that we're right about Mousegate. Amir says Iran is attacking U.S. airbase in Iraq. Rockets hit airbase. Welcome to World War III. Well, what I'm hoping for, and I'm not really hoping, it's kind of like we know it's fake. Um, I'm not really hoping, it's the wrong word. How about this? It seems likely to me, going off the meta script, that Iran, China, Russia are going to be on one side of the fence in the coming space wars, and that the space wars is also going to be framed as a way to save the planet because Americans are obviously fucking it up, and we can't let these capitalists bring down trillions of dollars of wealth from outer space because it'll destabilize the world economies, and the commies don't like that because they want to go green. So they might set it off by shooting down the space station, bringing down the Tower of Babylon. And this was totally prefaced this year. Well, I'm sorry, last year, all 2019. And also, it's worth noting that we are 33 years from the Challenger explosion. That happened on the. We're still in that window for a couple more weeks. There's also the possibility that Russia and China might use kamikaze satellites, but I kind of think Iran may do it. Although India might also take part. Remember, they're the ones who shot the weather satellite and put 400 pieces of orbital debris in the path of the space station. So, space wars, and we already predicted this, so it's not actually breaking news. Oh my, I have to deal with this again. Really quick, I can't believe this is still getting out there. Now, somebody keeps saying it's ISIS's birthday. Is it? 1/7? So, look at this. This video has been viral for a couple of years now. So this is an amateur rocket that goes 73 miles up. And according to this Express.co article, flat earthers are saying that they've discovered the gateway to heaven. And what they're saying proves this is that when the rocket goes 73 miles up, it appears to hit a barrier and it falls back down. And this story has been circulated for about 3 years now, that it's a rocket hitting the dome, that it's showing the gateway of heaven. Anyway, if you listen, Mad Mike Hughes on his podcast on last week's, he talked about this because he knows the people behind this launch. He was aware of the launch when it happened, and he said, no, this is the explosive charge within the rocket that pops the parachute when it reaches the apex or the peak or whatever. So it's completely normal that you'd have a pop and the parachute comes out. It didn't hit a glass dome. But here we are, January of 2020, and it's still making the news that flat earthers are claiming that they discovered a gateway to heaven. Someone says they don't know how yo-yo de-spin works. Exactly. Exactly. I'm just surprised that they're still circulating it. And you know who still pushes this line? Is Dearth. Deep inside the rabbit hole. Still pushes that. Which I find kind of, I don't know if it's ignorant or just being belligerent, trying to score points, but it's dishonest at a minimum. And, that's why we're trying to get it out there. Like, there's no reason to be spreading that type of misinformation. Bad arguments don't really get you anywhere. And it's all to prove the dome. Right, exactly. They say, well, this proves God. Yeah, we just knocked on God's door with a rocket. Yep, Jesus is up there if we could just go 74 miles. Like, come on. Thirst for Truth said David Weiss included that in his app. Spike LOL says, dude, flat earthers are straight dumb. Well, some of them don't do research. I'll tell you this, because I don't like to generalize. Flat earthers aren't dumb. Biblical flat earthers are dumb. And I don't mean like they're intellectually stunted. I mean that they've dumbed themselves down with logical fallacies. So, Alto says Dearth knows about the D-spin mechanism. If he knows about the D-spin mechanism, why is he still lying and saying that it's hitting the dome? I mean, seriously. That's just dishonest. Speak Penguin or Die. If you like it, here's a link. SPOD. If you see SPOD, in fact, someone had posted I'll have to get that link. Speak Penguin or Die basically means that the entire concept of flat Earth is going to die in conference rooms. It's going to die of boredom with hotel pool water on its breath and nothing to show for it. It's not going to go anywhere unless it goes deep south, as in beyond Antarctica. And if everybody went there, they would solve it once and for all. But they're so edge averse, edgeophobic. They don't even want to talk about the edge. So I'm saying if the group of people who are saying the earth is flat or might be flat aren't making efforts to go south, well, their movement's going to die. So speak penguin or die doesn't mean we're going to kill you if you don't speak penguin. It means, for the movement. Okay, tell me this doesn't look just fake. Does anybody here think this is real? You know what this looks like to me? It looks like that prank. I don't know if it's a prank, but they used to do where you put dog, you know what, in a brown bag. You light it on fire and you throw it in front of somebody's front door and you ring the doorbell. They answer the door and they smash it with their boot. Like, that's what this looks like. This doesn't look like a satellite photo, whatever that means, of Australia on fire. Like, this is some of the fakest fear porn I've seen in a long time. Totally fake, right? All right, there's a link below if you want to sign up for the email list. You do want to be on that list. Short-Faced Bear said they admitted that photo was fake. Well, they admitted it was fake after it already circulated and did its damage. That's the way that this works with the fear porn. Like, if they can get a pass, they will. It's bad. Australia fires. I'm glad that none of you are convinced by this. It's almost a crime to use your discernment. Somebody mentioned yo-yo D-spin on rockets, and speaking of which, yeah, this guy here on the far left is the one who's still pushing that the rocket's hitting the dome. In fact, they all do. All these five guys here say that the rocket, all these yo-yos are saying that the rocket's hitting the dome, and we need to make that like not the case anymore. Deep Lagoon says, I love your voodoo items in your store. Yeah, anybody else here into voodoo? Has anybody else tried it? No, honestly, what it is, it's just a number of things. Let me show you. I go to Alibaba and I source items and I just grabbed like a ton of stuff at once. And I found this little voodoo kit. Let's see if I can find it. It's pretty funny. I thought about actually using it maybe, and I don't know. Anyway, infiniteplanesociety.com. We do have a lot of artwork. We do have a lot of stuff up there. This is one by MVP. We always use his music for the intros. And he's been part of the Keeping Up with the Crisis Actors team for a bit here. And, we've been, really, we haven't missed a thing when it comes to these crisis actors. We've been following the evolution of them, their stories, and everything else from day one. You can get this one. This is an original David Hogg activist, original drawing, marker on paper, $500. It's harder to censor art than it is memes. So we're trying to kind of mix the two. Also, fiction is a good way. Here we go. Here's what you're talking about. I saw these designs and I added this. Voodoo doll prediction, mini size. Again, it's Alibaba, so the keywords aren't in any particular order. It's the funniest thing. But yeah, it looks interesting. I'm not sure how it works. Now you can get this at infiniteplanesociety.com if you so choose. But really, I want to stay on topic here. Elon Musk is losing his mind, and it's important to note this because if we're going to be asserting here that he is part of a prank or a joke, more or less, with the mouse on the edge of a rocket, it's like, well, what kind of person would do that? I would say, well, somebody very, very eccentric. And the way that he acts every time he's on stage, man, the guy's eccentric as hell. He even laughed about Starman and he said, yeah, of course it's real because it looks so fake. So this is another rat, another space rat. And this is by Critical Inception. He put this video up. It's a short video. I'll give you a link. Alto says the D-spin stops the axial rotation. Oh, on the rocket? Yeah, exactly. It's not hitting the damn dome. Talk about confirmation bias. So the link I just posted, it's called Another SpaceX Rocket Rat. And I'm going to put it on slow motion to make it easier for you who are watching to see. And this one's going to pop out on the top just like the other one did. Same path, this little pile of ice shaped like a mouse. And it's going to look up here, then it's going to turn around and run back. Somebody said, what about all those koalas burning up in Australia? Crisis actors. There you go, look. There's the mouse. He's looking around. You can see the two ears just like the other one. The head looks up, the ears stay in place. It retains its structural integrity. You can't tell me this is ice when the ears remain ears even as it rolls around at Mach 8. It's rolling around at Mach 8. And it backs up, and it disappears again. So I wanted to point out that Bilu said it was pareidolia. Jaron said it was white stuff. Bilu said that he also saw the profile of a cat. And they all agreed with Mick West, Fight the Flat Earth, Simon Dan, and Red's rhetoric that it's just frozen, oxygen, and a compression artifact. When nope, it's not that. It's not a smudge. Alto says it's a better mouse than the first. It is. It really is. So this is what I've been doing. The first mouse is a harder sell. So I sell that one. I make that the point because you really have to try hard to deny it. And so if they go with that and they say, okay, fine, I grant that it looks like a mouse, then you show them this one. And they're like, okay, there's no way you can back out of two in a row. And this one behaves differently because this one doesn't just slide down the side where you can say it's just ice. This one stops and it looks around like it's checking for cheese. Yeah, look, he's looking left, looking right. He sees the cameras on him. I think I see him waving at the camera. And boom, he goes back in. I'd say that this is some type of a joke. Yeah, Disney. I mean, Disney has always been a part of this whole thing. All right, so hey, look, we are going to be taking calls later, so we're not going to let that go. Mousegate is a thing. And as I said earlier, Musk's erratic behavior really does, if you ask me, it does kind of underscore our claim here that he's that crazy that he would be doing this. And look, if you want to get links to anything I'm showing you, go to infiniteplainsociety.com. And also, the music that we play on this channel is also at the site embedded. So anybody who has music that I put up on the site, if they have a SoundCloud or whatever, we put it up here. So people have been asking about music played on the site. All you do is you go to infiniteplainsociety.com and click it. ICXC Nika says that is a fucking mouse. Oh yeah, it is a mouse. It's either a mouse or it's a moving ice sculpture made out of frozen oxygen at Mach 8. And that's what is so great about this. The people who are unwilling to trust their own senses are having to go with the most ridiculous explanation possible. Oh yeah, that's not a mouse. That's a pile of ice that just happens to move like a mouse. This is One-Eyed Jack in the Shells, Pope Elon. We'll be back.
We're going to die someday. And if you're going to pick some place to die, then why not Mars? Okay. If we're born on Earth, why not die on Mars? Seems like maybe it'd be kind of exciting. But so I think given the choice of dying on Earth or dying on Mars, I'd say, yeah, sure, I'll die on Mars.
Forgive us our sins, for we ourselves forgive everyone who is indebted to us, and lead us not into temptation. Did you drive your car to Mars? Do yourself in space? Hiding behind Tesla's name, afraid the sheep will wait.
And you can tell it's real because it looks so fake.
There they go.
Wait for the sonic boom.